Hello, this is RunningRobert, and today we're going to be talking about the Humacyte, HUMA, pre-approval inspection summary. Today is the 18th of October, 2024, and today the pre-approval inspection was posted on the FDA's website, was noticed and communicated out. And so what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at each issue they figured out if it's a minor issue or a major issue, and kind of go from there. So I generally follow small cap pharma. I do some games. I do a little bit of everything. So if you like what I'm doing, hey, please like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. And thank you. So I do own shares and options. I'm an amateur investor, and any advice given should be followed up by your own due diligence. And any information given is valid for today, the 18th of October. And the slideshow will not be updated. But as we get new news, new slideshow. It is also pertinent to say I did sell some shares because of the news. However, I'm probably going to use those to buy a couple options, just to kind of limit the risk. So what happened? So the pre-approval inspection information was posted. And this was posted on the FDA website. So one, not a hit job, not something like this. Their unique time for it to be inspected. Most of the time they would not until after approval, but it is what it is. The inspection noted 5 issues, and while most were minor, some are definitely a cause for concern. So this summary is going to go over all the 5 issues, break them down, and then it's going to go from the easiest ones to solve to the hardest ones to solve. So let's go ahead and get to it. So issue 1. The contract cleaning crew was not current with their CGMP refresher training as required by the training program. Additionally, one member of the cleaning crew was not current on their GXP cleaning contractor core training module. So overall, I think this is a non-issue. Obviously, the refresher part, I'm not even worried about, because that means they've been trained. They just haven't gotten their refresher training, which comes up every year or two, depending on the program. But they are trained in how to do it. They just haven't been refreshed on. So again, that one's a pass. One member of the clean crew was not current on their GXP. Like I said, this stuff is easily rectified. It should not cause any kind of issues, and we're just going to go ahead and move on. So the quality review of blank preventive maintenance of the air handler unit was approved without the required documentation in, I assume that is the PRCD, per use of, probably the same, and preventive maintenance. So SOPs, PRCDs, whatever one you use them. So if this document wasn't attached, but exists, I don't think there's an issue if it was just an oversight that it did not get in. If this document does not exist, so they approved it and they went there, it's probably something that still can be remedied. I don't consider this a huge issue because, one, if it's there, no problem, whatever. If it's not there, they can probably do testing after it to kind of bracket what they're doing. And if everything passed in that time, it's really not a problem. So this, again, not really an issue. Okay, completed record for the role-based training was not available for an operator observed participating in activities in whatever room they were doing it. So this could be minor. So what happens is when the FDA comes a knocking, pretty much they will go into the area and watch the process going on. Now, it's either the process or a simulation of the process. One of the two. Everyone in there should know that these operators, they're going to go back and immediately say, I want to see the training records for these operators who are in there. And mostly this is a very simple task to do. And if you know the FDA is coming, you're definitely up to date on your training. So again, I could see this as being something minor, that they did not communicate this properly to the FDA. Maybe the training record had been misplaced, not lost. Let's just go with misplaced. Or, the biggest thing is what they were participating in wasn't a major issue, or an operator who maybe should not have been in there. So, however, this could indicate a more major issues in terms of training and records, just because, again, working, for a biotech company, when the FDA is coming in, you're getting and they knew because there was a pre-approval inspection that they should have their training up to date. So again, this could be minor, but it definitely is something to kind of keep in the back of our mind. Okay, so issue 4. So investigating out of spec results does not contain procedures for requesting an extension or opening a deviation if the investigation is not completed within the recommended 60 days. There were 10 out of 31 out of spec investigations that were open for more than 100 days, with the longest being 710. Oof, that is quite concerning. So, I mean, 31 out of spec investigations. One itself is probably not something that you like to see in your process. Now, again, they don't say how many times this, but these were 10 out of 31 that were open at the moment. So that is concerning. Obviously, 60 days is a normal recommended time that most companies use to do it. Some even go shorter, like 30 days or 10 days for different materials. So to see something open for 2 years does put up a red flag, 100%. So yeah, this is definitely something though by itself. Like I said, there's always going to be remediation plans with the FDA. If they say, hey, we're going to get all of these closed by X date, and we're going to again now put a procedure in for what happens if something goes over 60 days, they're probably in the clear. So by itself, it can be solved. If there's other things behind it, it might be indicative of more of a problem. And the last issue. So no microbial QA/QC was done for something formulated. So there's no microbial quality assurance of blank used for the blank. Specifically, there's no microbial testing or blank formulated using blank steps. So this does have the potential to be huge. So, and working as a microbiologist, this is a problem. So if there is no downstream testing, so what happens if this is an intermediate? Is this something that is mixed together like a buffer, anything like that? I don't know Humacyte's exact practices. We do testing. We do testing at the in-process step, and we do testing at the sterile filtration step. So if this is a buffer that is used in the product, but there is a sterile filtration later in the process, it's better. It's much better because, again, we definitely have missed samples, 100%. But the sterile fills come back and you're like, hey, we're going to use that to say that this is okay. So, if there is downstream testing of the process, then it's something that can easily be remedied. So again, this is the biggest issue, but also it could be the most minor issue because I don't know the process. Though, again, if there's no downstream testing, this one is definitely something that could get a CRL. So we're just going to have to see about that. So I believe most of the issues are fairly easy to solve. However, there are definitely 2 concerning observations. However, without knowing more of the process, it's hard to determine how major these issues could be. And like I said, I work in biotech. I do not work for Humacyte, so I do not have any knowledge of that. I know how the FDA works. I know how CRLs work and pre-approval inspections. So yeah, there's a lot that it could be a bigger problem. It's just we don't know. The company would have time to rectify its situations. And so if it is something like, hey, adding a testing point before that formulation, you're in great shape. No problem. As long as there's sterile fill down the line somewhere. So, however, of course, per statements by the company and the continued conversations with the FDA, the company seems to be proceeding like everything is fine. We listened to Vanda not that long ago where they just completely cut off communication with Vanda, the FDA with Vanda, because it was not going to get approved. No reason to go any further. So this one does feel a little bit different, but my optimism has definitely been dampened a little bit. So sorry if this ran late. Hopefully this gives you a lot of information to digest so that you can make a better or more proper investing decision. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.